Hey guys, all right, well, guess what? Another green day, 22nd consecutive green day. Today was a big one. I finished the morning with $8,696.21 of profit. That's gonna put me over $50,000 of profit this month. Today I decided to trade in my regular account instead of the IRA. I was like, you know what? I haven't traded in the IRA, or I've been trading in the IRA all week. I'm gonna switch, use my regular account, make a little money. Boom, almost $10,000. That's awesome. That's gonna put the regular account up close to 67,000 starting on next Monday. So I can feel good about that. This hot streak is, really, it's going great. I mean, we keep seeing big momentum stocks. Today we had a technical breakout and just my go-to setup. So guys, guess what? This coming Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm gonna host a free workshop where I'm gonna pull back the curtains on my strategy. I'm gonna show you guys the ins and the outs of how I find these stocks in real time, where I get in, where I get out, and how you can automate your risk management if you want to never risk more than $100 per trade. Now, I step up my risk a little bit because, if you risk 1,000 and you make 5,000, it's worth it. But you can choose your comfort level, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, guys, so that's this coming Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna put the link right in the description so you guys can register. All right, so I'm gonna go back at it. I got a few things I need to do. Enjoy the recap, and as usual, any questions, any comments, leave them below, and I'll answer them over the weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. All right, everyone. So we're going to do our midday market recap here. I'm going to finish the morning up $8,696.21 for my 22nd consecutive green day, which is pretty nice. So this has been a really great hot streak. The last long hot streak I had was 56 consecutive days. I'm not quite halfway there, but 22 days is solid, and consistency is what it's all about. Today, like yesterday, I started, or was it like yesterday or the day before? I can't remember now, but today I started actually by going into the red. First trade out of the gates, dropped down $796. Today I had a couple red trades, but I was able to find some winners, and that kept me on the green side of the line, which is good. So I'll go over the watch list the way I had it this morning, and then we'll go back and look at a couple of the stocks that popped up as sort of surprise momentum stocks. All right, now you guys can see this chart has red and green lines here. These are support and resistance levels. This is a technical indicator that I teach you guys about in the Warrior Pro course. It is helpful for identifying algorithmic support and resistance levels. Those can be more significant on more thickly traded stocks. We use them in the futures room. Steve uses them when he's trading commodities like, gold and corn and soybeans and stuff like that. And they can be used on ETFs and more large cap stocks. But on small cap stocks, they can also be helpful, particularly when you're looking for sort of obvious lines in the sand where you may see buyers or sellers. So let's start by looking at the watch list. So I'm going to go and do a time frame here of 9:25 a.m. All right. So, and these indicators were developed by Steve, who runs the futures room. So they're available to Warrior trading students. There's a special place where you guys can get those indicators. So leading gapper this morning was TTNP. Now TTNP shows it was gapping up 528%. That's a huge gap. But in reality, it actually wasn't gapping up that much. It was a reverse split stock. So you can see here the headline was reverse split. I'm going to put up my screen share there for everyone on Facebook. So let's see. They did a reverse split here, and it changed the float from 75 million shares down to 13 million shares. I'm not sure what the ratio of the split was. I guess a 6-to-1 reverse split. All right, so if you were holding 6 shares yesterday, today you'd be holding only 1 share, but the price is now up times 6. So you same value your position, and actually a little less because now the stock is sold off today. This for me, it didn't give any setup, so I didn't take any trades on it. I just sat and watched it from the sidelines. The only place I would have been interested was probably a break over $1.50. You can see that that trigger line there drawn by this indicator. $1.50 is the $0.5 resistance. So that's a spot I would have been interested in, but we didn't get that break, so no trades. Next one down was Rand. I lost $766 on this one, which is kind of a bummer because it actually did pretty much exactly what I thought it would. I was watching this for a break at the pre-market highs. Now we talk about break of pre-market highs as a gap and go strategy. We had the algorithmic line there at 332. I actually wanted to be a buyer at 334, which would have been a break of pre-market highs. The bell rings and I jumped in it, but I got filled a little on the high side. So this was kind of not the greatest entry. I got filled at 40, 44, 46, and added at 51 and 56. So on this one, I took about 13,000 shares, expecting out of the gates that this would break the pre-market highs, which it did, break over the $0.5, and then from there, 375 was sort of the next target. It hit a high of 360, and I ended up selling as it dipped back down here, or selling some of my position. It then did a 1 minute micro pullback, and I got back in right here. It popped up to 57, and then I stopped out as it dropped back down and ended up giving back the profit I'd made. On the first trade, I made about $400, and on the second one, I lost about 1,000 or whatever. So down 766 on that, and since then, it's just continued to fade. It hasn't given any additional setups, so that's been kind of disappointing. A nice gap headline this morning, but it did not give us clean follow through. However, you guys, if you weren't as aggressive as me, you could have just bought it at 33 and just sold it up here, right? So there was an opportunity for a win. I just pushed my luck a little by getting back in, and that was a little bit of a mistake. So that was my first trade, and that was right off the watch list. So an opportunity for profit, but I screwed it up. Next one down, CLRO. This was off the watch list, gapping up 19% with a catalyst. 200 moving average up there at 309, so we've got a little room up to the 200. No big deal. Little consolidation here on the daily for a while, now starting to curl back up. So I was watching this also for a gap and go trade. I was watching it right around the pre-market pivot, which was right here at 44. Notice the red box that was drawn at 41. And I had said I'd probably be buying a little early to anticipate that breakout. I'm going to turn off this one here, the market profile map. All right. Now I can also, the colors of the candle are based on green if you're above a box, gray if you're inside a box, and red if you're below a box. That's optional. You can turn that portion on or off. So that's Vega there. So if it's helpful, it's helpful. If it's not, don't use it. But I'm just going to leave it on for right now. So anyways, this ended up selling off. It couldn't break that level. It then curls back up, squeezes up to 250. And I said, I like this for a short because this is a double top. Double topping at the pre-market high. I didn't have shares available to borrow, but it did end up coming back down. That would have been a good short. So, that is what it is. So no trades on that one. This one, I didn't even look at. This one was too expensive. I'm not sure why I didn't look at it. I guess not a lot of volume. WDC, too expensive, not enough volume. This one I didn't look at either. I don't know why. I just was kind of running through what I thought were the couple of strongest gappers, and I don't know. Maybe I glanced at it, but nothing there. So that was, let's see, the top of the scan. Going down a little further, I look at the lower float ones. This one's a little too cheap. Not a lot of volume on this one. A little further down, so not a lot today. All right, so the bell rings. I take my first trade on Rand, and I'm down $766. And I was like, all right, well, I really wanted this to be my 22nd consecutive green day, so I gotta get myself out of the hole. But I also don't want to have this be a blow-up day, so it's not like I'm gonna just throw money at the market. I need to wait for an A quality setup and then strike. Now, what sometimes happens to me is if I take a loss on my first trade, I'll be a little more aggressive on the second trade. I jump right back up and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be aggressive. Because now it's not even really about building the cushion on the day anymore. It's about getting back to green, which is a tough thing. It's something I try not to be too in my head about, but it's hard to help it. And so when I saw someone in the room say, hey, look at AVCO, it's squeezing up, I pulled it up and I knew AVCO immediately. But without even looking at the chart, I was like, yep, this is the one that 2 days ago squeezed up 400%. I mean, this went from $4 to $13.50 in 2 days. It then dropped, it gave it all back, right? But I knew it's squeezing up. Okay, there's a possibility that today is gonna be what? The first daily candle to make a new high. That's a really strong setup. That's the same setup we took on MBOT a couple days ago. Right here was the first daily candle to make a new high. That was over 840 and it squeezed all the way up to a high of 12. That's almost, 3-4 points. I mean, that's a great move. That first candle to make a new high. TBLT, let's look at this one. First candle to make a new high was right there. And then you had continuation on this day. First candle to make a new high is a very strong setup on a former runner parabolic stock. So when AVCO, when I look at it, and I looked at the candle, I saw 516, and I saw how much it was already squeezing up, I knew that this is one that I wanted a piece of. I knew that it had the potential to make a big move. And so where did I get in? I took my starter at 460. Was that aggressive? Yeah, it was. Because this thing had just been at $4 5 minutes ago. But it was moving quickly. I mean, it's already up 20%. And as I got in, I jumped in at 460. And what you can see on these stocks when you pull up the level 2, I don't know if we'll see it on AVCO right now, but you can see where it's going to get halted. And then this is going to get halted if it goes over 534. And so as soon as I pulled it up, I could already see it was getting close to getting halted because it was already at 460 and the halt level was at, I believe, 487. So, or was it 509? I guess it was 509. So anyways, I'm jumping in and I add at 460 and then I add another 5,000 shares at 5. So I have an average of 10,000 shares at 484. So now my cost basis is 484. And yes, am I in this pretty high? I am. However, we are now setting up for the first daily candle to make a new high on a stock that's clearly a former runner and has potential. And my back of the mind target initially was like 550. But then once it got halted here at 509, I started to think that $6 was a realistic target. And we ended up hitting 614. It comes out of the second halt and it squeezes up. I have 10,000 shares and I'm pressing shift one. I'm trying to add another 6,000 shares. And guess what happened? Not enough buying power. So in this account, this is actually my main account today that I'm trading in. I only had $58,000 and I couldn't use my margin on this stock. So I could only use my cash balance. Now, I'm used to seeing error notifications. Usually when I get the error notification, it's because I'm exceeding my max position size, which I think is set at like 15,000 shares or maybe 10,000 shares. So I was like, oh, okay, override. And I thought I was overriding it. I didn't even have time to read the message. I'm just like, yep, override. And so basically I just kept pressing buy, and it just kept saying, nope. And then I look and I'm like, why don't I have more shares? And then I realized it was because I didn't have enough buying power, not enough cash in the account. I started this account at the beginning of the year with like, I don't know, $40,000. So, I kind of cleared out 2018 profits and started over with a smaller account, relatively speaking. And this is another one of those times that it kind of hurt me a little bit. So it halts a second time at 587. And I'm still holding the full 10,000 shares. Now I'm up a full $1 per share. I'm up 10,000 bucks. And then it resumes and it hits a high of 614 and I see the tape and all I'm seeing is red selling. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I better take some profit. So I sell half. I sell 5,000 shares. I sell another half, 2,500 shares. So when I've got 10,000, I sell half. Now I've got 5,000. I sell another half. I've got 2,500. So now I'm holding 2,500 and it drops to 550 and gets halted going down. It resumes lower. It pulls back It then pops up to 530 and I sold at 520 and I sold the rest at like 4, where was it? I don't know, it was like 459. Yeah, it was 459. It hit a low of 454, but whatever. So gave back a little bit as it came back down. And with that, I made $9,676. Scalping the first daily candle to make a new high. A scalp trade is a short trade. It's a fast trade. Getting in, being aggressive, and taking profit quickly. You can see on AVCO the halt level going down is at 441 right now. So it shows only on Sterling platform. All right, so as it curled back up here, I was watching it potentially to get back in, but it didn't give me the trigger, and so I just kind of sat on the sidelines, and now it's pulled back a little bit more. So it's still up, 20%. It's still up from my initial entry, in fact, but it's not holding as well as I want it to. But you never know. Maybe it'll break over the VWAP and continue higher. So this one, volatility, not the cleanest, pretty big spreads, but knowing the daily setup is what allowed me and encouraged me to be as aggressive as I was. All right, so that was on AVCO. MBOT, we were watching this morning, and I took a trade on this one. I was watching it sort of out of the gates, but it was a little too kind of wild. And then right in this area here, we had this consolidation. The high was 984. 984, and then you'll see here, boom, we break, and we hit a high of 915. So I jumped in there with 3,000 shares, and the reason was because that consolidation was right below the VWAP. And sometimes when we see that, we'll break out, we'll go through high of day, and we'll make a nice move. And this was potentially setting up for a daily breakout. Now, the real daily breakout was on Wednesday, but like TBLT a couple days ago, you have the first one, and then sometimes you have a day of rest, and then sometimes you have a second one, and sometimes you have a third one. So I was kind of watching MBOT for that potential that maybe it would make a high over 1039 and then move back up towards 11 or 12, and you just never know. But that didn't end up happening, so I sold it for $415 of profit. And at the same time, I took a trade on SPI, jumping in. This one was 6,000 shares. I bought it at 92, right up here. It hit a high of $3. There was a 13,000 share seller at 3. Couldn't break that level. It dropped down, consolidated for a second, but I sold it at 70. Where did I sell it? I sold that one actually at 83 and 80. So on 6,000 shares, I lost $628. And so with that, I called it a day. So I started the day with a loser. I ended the day with a loser, but I found some profit on AVCO and MBOT. And SPI, I was into it because this was also a daily setup, 287. The thing with a daily setup is that it makes the intraday stock just that much stronger, typically. Now on this, in this case, it didn't work, but usually our best momentum stocks have good daily charts. So so anyways, that's about it for me. AVCO was just one trade. I didn't get back in it. It was in at 460, adding at 5, and then trying to add on the way up, getting orders rejected because I didn't have enough buying power. This is one that if I'd been able to add, I might have been able to make a little bit more money because I was trying to add on it at 550. And at that point I was like, I'm wanting to add here at 550 right here. My target's $6. And I was 100% right. So if I'd added 6,000 shares, that could have added another $3,000 of profit right in there. But, I'm working with a smaller account right now. So the good news is that tomorrow or Monday, I'm going to have an extra $8,600 in the account. So I'll be happy with that. It puts me up now about $50,000 on the month. We still have 4 days left. So, a couple more days like this could be a really terrific month. If we do see a stock, we've been seeing some crazy momentum this month. I haven't had that $30,000 day yet. And the thing with AVCO, the reason I didn't make a ton on this day, or maybe even trade it on that day, I don't quite remember now, was because it made the bulk of the move in the afternoon. So, you know, it didn't do anything in the morning. And then all of a sudden at 1 o'clock, it goes from $6 to $10. It pulls back, it comes back up, it breaks this level here, and it breaks it again here, these algorithmic levels, and boom, it takes off. These levels are just, they're basically drawing support and resistance lines using price action or historical price and the volume that took place at each of those prices to understand potential levels of support and resistance. So it helps confirm what you're already suspecting. That's how I use indicators. I don't use them as red light, green light. I use them more as confirmation of what I already think is happening. So anyways, you know, pretty crazy day. Wasn't expecting to have, you know, almost $10,000 of profit on Friday, but ended up finishing up here with some nice wins. So I'll be happy with that. And we'll be back at it first thing on Monday. Goal will be to make it day 23 of the hot streak, and you know, day 23, 24, 25, 26, try to finish this month with 26 consecutive green days and have a no red January. I've only got 4 days left. This would be the first no red month in well, I'd have to look back, it's been a while. So 4 days left. You know, I gotta stay focused, and I'll admit I got a little aggressive on AVCO. I got knocked down right out of the gates on Rand, and you know, the first thing I saw that looked really, really good, I jumped into pretty aggressively. When I got into AVCO, I took my trade on Rand at 9.31, lost $700 at 9.31, and then didn't take another trade until 9.44. So I just basically sat for 10 minutes waiting, looking for something that was strong. Nothing was strong. And then I saw AVCO called out in the room, pulled up the chart, and boom, jumped right in. So yeah, I was a little aggressive there, but it was the right stock to be aggressive on. So it worked out. All right, so anyways, that's it for me. I'll be back at it first thing Monday morning. We'll do our pre-market watch list around 9:15, and I'll see you guys right here in the room. All right, I'll see you guys on Monday. Also, a reminder for those of you guys on Facebook and YouTube, I forgot to mention, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to host a free workshop. So would love for you guys to register. I'm going to pull back the curtains on this strategy that I trade every single day, show you the ins and outs of these indicators, give you a sense of how I'm finding these stocks in real time, how I'm managing my risk, where I get in, where I get out. So if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about what I do every single day, how I've been such a successful day trader, how I made over $500,000 last year, how I took $583 and turned it into over $885,000, register for the workshop. It's going to be Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, so I'll remind you guys again Monday morning about that, and I'll see you guys all back at it on Monday. All right, I got a call here, actually Inner Circle student at 11 a.m. So I'm going to switch gears, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye, everyone. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.